Nikita Kucherov has signed a mega extension with the Tampa Bay Lightning, plus the New York Islanders have signed a couple new players to contracts as well. We'll discuss all that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, I have some new contracts here in the NHL to discuss today. Of course, we have the big one, Nikita Kucherov, inking an 8-year mega extension here with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then we have a couple of other signings with the New York Islanders to quickly discuss as well. First of all, let's start off with the Islanders players, and then we'll jump into Nikita Kucherov's new contract here momentarily. Now, the New York Islanders have made a couple of interesting signings today that I wanted to quickly discuss here. First player they've signed is center Jan Kovar from the KHL. Now, he's a very interesting player. He's a little bit older. He's 28 years old. He's been playing in the KHL for the past 5 seasons, and he's put up some absolutely terrific numbers. He's been pretty well a point per game or slightly better player in that league. So he's done extremely well. So they've signed him to a 1-year, $2 million contract here to come over and play with the Islanders. So he's a center iceman. Obviously, he'll provide a little bit of depth at that position. Obviously, after losing Jan Kovar to free agency here, obviously they could use some more depth at center. So obviously they have Matt Barzal, they have Brock Nelson. Now they have Kovar, who can hopefully slot in between the second and third lines and produce some extra offensive power here for the Islanders. So hard to say how this is going to turn out. He's not a player that I'm overly familiar with, but based on what I was able to research and find out about him, it looks like he's a pretty decent offensive player, putting up a point per game for over a 5-year period in the KHL certainly is fairly impressive. Looks like he's a pretty decent goal scorer, pretty good setup guy as well. So he should be a pretty good offensive center for the Islanders here for the upcoming season. So we'll see how this deal works out, but at least it's a short-term deal, not a huge amount of money, so it's a fairly low-risk contract. So a good signing here, I'd say, by the Islanders. Now the next signing that the Islanders made, in my opinion, is a little bit of a head-scratcher, a little bit different here, but they've signed left winger Ross Johnston to a 4-year contract worth $1 million per season. Now, the part that I find really odd about this is he only has 25 games of NHL experience to his name. During those 25 games, he's put up 6 points. Now, obviously, Ross Johnston is a player that I'm fairly familiar with. He's from the Atlantic Canada region here, so he played his junior hockey in the QMJHL with some of the teams that I've had an opportunity to watch a fair bit here over the years. I mean, he's played for his hometown team in Charlottetown, PEI, for the Charlottetown team in the Q. He's also played for the Moncton Wildcats, and he also spent some time with Victoriaville in the Q as well. So I've had a chance to see him a fair little bit. I mean, he was only an okay player in junior. I mean, obviously, I like to root for the guy where he's from. PEI, he's from the Maritimes here, so obviously I like to see more players from this region make it to the NHL. So it's nice to see him get the opportunity, but it's just for a 4-year contract for a guy with 25 games experience and only 6 points during that stretch. I mean, obviously, he's kind of bounced around through his junior career, ended up playing for 3 different teams in the Q. He worked his way up through the ECHL, played a little bit in the American Hockey League, and then he's got 25 games of NHL experience under his belt. He's kind of one of those guys, when the signing was announced, I know a lot of people online seem to be saying, well, who is this guy? If you're an Islanders fan, you probably will be a little bit more familiar with him, as you likely seen him play a bit this past year or so. But, it's just kind of a really odd questioning move here that they give him such a longer-term deal. Thankfully, it's not big money, so it's not too high a risk, but it's just kind of odd with a player with so little experience, who really didn't have a great junior career. Was clawed his way up through the lower ranks of the pro level as well. To give him a contract is one thing, but to give him 4 years at $1 million per season just seems a little odd. Kind of like last season, when they'd signed defenseman Scott Mayfield to a long-term deal as well with so little experience. So this is not something new for the New York Islanders. I thought maybe it was more of a Garth Snow type thing, but obviously Snow's not even making those decisions anymore. This is a Lou Lamoriello in charge type of signing, so kind of a bit of a head scratcher. I mean, I wish Ross Johnston the best. I hope things work out for him. Like I said, I'm familiar with this player. I've seen him play in junior, but he's only ever been just an okay type of player at the lower level. So I was surprised to see him get any opportunity at the NHL, but then to see this was quite surprising. So let me know your thoughts, especially if you're an Islanders fan. What do you think of these two signings? Certainly some different, unique signings signings for sure. I mean, the guy that's coming over from the KHL, Kovar, I mean, he looks like he might be pretty offensive. He might be a nice help to the Islanders. And this Johnston signing is not certainly going to hold them back too much if it doesn't work out, but it's just kind of odd and interesting to see them do such a longer-term deal for a player that's really not established at all. So let me know your thoughts down below, and we can discuss further. Now, the big news of the day, though, was Nikita Kucherov signing a mega 8-year extension with the Tampa Bay Lightning at $9.5 million per season. So I have to go out and say that I think this contract is extremely fair. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning has got themselves a good bargain. If you look at the past number of seasons here that he's been in the NHL, he's done nothing but produced at a high level. Now, his first year in the league, I think he got into, it was 52 games. But after that, he's played the full seasons for 4 consecutive years, and he's put up some excellent numbers. I mean, last year we seen him put up a 100-point season, 39 goals, 100 points. I mean, an excellent year last year. The year before that, he scored 40 goals, and then he had 2 seasons before that, one at 30 goals, one at 29. So, I mean, the guy's a goal-scoring machine. He's really proved himself over the last 4 years in Tampa Bay. He would have been his contract was set to expire here after this coming season. So obviously, I think based on other deals that we've seen, if you look at what John Tavares just got, you look at the Drew Doughty deal. I know he's a defenseman, but still, if you look at what some of the other top guys are getting, this is a bargain. Now, of course, you got to keep in mind that Tampa has a bit of an advantage here, being in the state of Florida with how the state taxes work. There's certainly a lot of other markets that would have had to have offered him around anywhere from 10.5, 11, 11.5 to match what he's actually going to take home and pay because of the tax advantage in the state of Florida there. So obviously that certainly goes a long way to kind of help on their cap situation as well, being where they're located. But I also seen a lot of speculation online, mainly through Twitter and whatnot, saying, well, geez, they've extended Kucherov now, so that means that they're certainly not going to be looking to add anymore. So it takes them out of the trade equation here with some of the other deals they're looking at, specifically trying to add Karlsson. And really, I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, obviously, Steve Yzerman is a very smart man. He's really good at his job here. And knowing that Nikita Kucherov needed a new contract coming up as of next year certainly was no surprise. It's not like they didn't, see this into the future. So, personally, I don't think this takes them out of the equation whatsoever. No matter what here, to make a move to bring in a significant player with another big contract, they have to move some money out. That is going to be complicated. It is going to be tricky. But this contract extension, I don't think takes them out of that equation. If this deal doesn't end up going down and them making this big acquisition here, I really don't think this contract is going to have anything to do with it. I mean, if you look longer term with what they have, like I said, this is something they were already well aware that needed to be done before the other trade talks ever got underway. So I would not take them out of the equation of looking to continue to add to this team. Obviously, they're well stacked, they're well positioned, and after the Leafs signing John Tavares, it would not shock me for them to try to kind of add another big gun to their team, because obviously those two are going to end up having to duke it out a lot for this division title. You can't count out the Bruins as well, but to make it back and win another Stanley Cup, and they're doing everything they can to make that happen. So I would not count them out from making other moves or other acquisitions at all. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of this big contract extension for Nikita Kucherov? Personally, I think the cap hit here that he's done for 9.5 for a player of this magnitude is very fair. Personally, I thought he might actually get a little bit more than that. So really, overall, I think this is a great contract, but I'd love to hear what you think down in the comment section down below. Now, if you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there is plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.